Hello, and welcome back for another Let's Analyze Ark Nova. And yeah, in this game we got our butts kicked by effing Cool, who is a very strong player. As you can see, it's a very short game, ended after 28 turns only, which is very quick. I'm interested to have a little look at this one from their perspective here and see how this panned out. So I'm going to load up the view from the view of effing Cool and see how this went. Now, I didn't have a particularly good game, but let's see how this went. Now, that is a pretty... wow. Wow. Okay, cool. So I'm guessing... So I know from the game that there was a lot of reputation early on. I think you associated for one of these, and then this and this and this. Wow. Ah, yeah, I'm just going to back out and show you. I mean, I don't know, you didn't see my starting hand. I'm just going to show you my starting hand. So, Fred Grants is good. And then, yeah. I think I kept this, and this, and I think I kept that. Maybe that was a mistake, but, yeah, I really didn't get... Alright, let's go back to you. So, pretty nice what you've got. Makes sense to keep the reputation stuff and just push hard on that. In this case, you ended up keeping... Is this playing by itself now? No. Kept this one. Kind of diversity, cheap creature, gives a hat. A reptile makes sense, and a couple of thingies. Okay. I was doing some building here. Blue plays a sponsor. Okay, so in your position here, we know you don't snap much. I think probably drew cards off the top. Okay. So I took Australia because I had two Australia creatures in hand, and I could play them both if I took Australia. Maybe that was just bad. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have just focused on this. I did have the first choice of association. So what would I do in your position here? I've got these two I could potentially play. Yeah, I mean, it made sense, but I could have just played the one thing and taken one of these instead. I was really, really struggling. I got one upgrade because I was struggling to do this. I got one upgrade from having two things, but yeah, I had just had no way. That's why I eventually did species diversity in the third slot. Eventually, in like break 2 or break 3 or something. It was just, I don't know, it was a pretty horrible game for me, honestly. So in your position here, got the zoo school. I'm thinking a start here, maybe. Would make sense. Possibly here. You probably want to be near the cache because it's quite helpful. Here, I guess? Yeah. Alright. Cool. So, taking a card with zoo school. Or an institute, I suppose? So you're already on 3 reputation at this point. Okay. So that is 1 from this, 1 from that. See, had I taken this one, it would be a different story for you right now, but... Question is, And I don't actually remember, what did you upgrade? So here, what is the best upgrade? I would say build, probably, because you can then have a kiosk, do this, have a kiosk, have a size 1. This is perfect for you, this. Gives you 2 rep and the microscope is exactly what you need. So, kiosk, pavilion, size 1, or vice versa. You can play one of these things. It's great. You probably, with size, with no hand size improvement, you're probably playing this, pouching one thing. I don't know if you pouched this, you pouched something, maybe there's, I don't know. Okay, well, I'm in agreement with everything you've done so far. I didn't spend a long time looking at your starting hand, but, you know, I just wanted to get into it. But I like your play so far. So next is building. For me, I would build a kiosk here, pavilion. Definitely want to connect this. Size 1 or whatever. Bearing in mind you need enough money to play the actual things, you could build kiosk size 2, size 1, play both things. But you have to overbuild. Put them into 2 big enclosures, and I know you're not a fan, right? That makes sense. Size 1 by the water, maybe? Pavilion there, okay. Size 2 and a size 1. Right, you do overbuild. Well, for what's here, like, I mean. Clever. So, not animals, obviously. You probably don't need cards. So, in this situation, maybe, oh yeah, you put lizard in the size 2, right? That makes sense. So yeah, this is a great start for you. Would have been absolute nightmare, yeah. Had I taken this, you would have been everything would have fallen apart for you. I had no way to know that this was happening though. But I think in you know, if we're talking objectively, in the dark, like, well, we don't know anything about any hand states and it doesn't make any difference to me. What do you think is the best one of these 8 things to take? Assuming that it makes no difference to anything in your hand, which one would you take? Okay. One of these 2, yeah. So here you probably get rid of cards. I think you have enough cards for the moment. Yeah. Universities are harder to get, that is true. Yeah, that's true. Alright, so what do I do? I'm snapping already? No, I actually draw. Yeah. So blue's doing some building. That is so great. That your first build of the game, you literally, your first build of the game was an upgraded build. This is an incredible start, dude. This is an incredible, incredible start. You managed to upgrade build before your first build. And you can play both your creatures. And you have sponsors to play after that. It's incredible. So you can play these creatures out. Kitty can't believe it. Have you ever seen anything like this, Kitty, in your whole life? I've had starts like this, but it's unusual. I don't remember ever building with an upgraded build for my first build, ever. Oh, so that's interesting. You pouched a sponsor. You pouched spotted hyena compound. Okay, right. Fair enough. Okay. So you think you might use this then, I guess. It requires. All right. You're thinking you're only going to play one of these things. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. So here I'm playing my birds. I played both my animals, I think, and I was quite pleased with myself. But at this point, we've both spent all our money, and there's a long time left in the round. I think I had an awkward moment at the end of this round. Um, all right. So what was that? Jumping or something? Oh, jumping. Yeah. What suddenly happened there? This player played. They are down to their hand size. All right. So here again, it's your turn. Can't play this. So, I mean, nothing's great, I guess. I guess you can cards, but this is one of those situations where it's not too sure to what to do, is it? Worth a little bit of thought. Do you perhaps want to draw one of these? In retrospect, me getting this was just a helpful idea. I guess you cards. No, you gain an X. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because you're going to need one now. Yeah, I guess. So you moved animals. It was already in there, so you didn't change anything. Just moved it for an X. I did something similar. Oh, interesting. What do you think I should break? Let's rewind then. What are we on? Move 87. Can we go to a specific move? Alright. Alright, let's have a look. Trying to go back a bit. So blue's building. I've got -1 cards in my hand. I think something's wrong with this. We've broken the game. How many cards do I actually have? No one knows. Okay, well that's a bit inconvenient. You have 1 card, and it says you have 7. Well, I guess we'll never know. So here, yeah, everything's broken. Yeah, I don't know how many cards I had in hand. So you think I should break? What's your rationale? The thing is, it just seemed. Oh right, playing quarantine was not a good idea. I figured that yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't do anything good. But I figured that this was this could be good if I needed 2 microscopes to play an animal, or if, you know, it's endgame scoring, and if I was short a microscope, then it would be, you know, be good to have played this. But, yeah, breaking is, you might be right. It might be a total misplay, and, so, in the end, blue, did a break, so I didn't feel too bad about what I'd done. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I'm gonna write down there things to think about, you know. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a mental note because I don't have a pen to hand. Alright, so things to think about. What if the round doesn't end? It's good good thing to think about, that's true. So yeah. I have a decent idea of like break strategy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna take what you say very seriously because you're obviously a very fast and very precise player. You know, very efficient. So, I will certainly take that advice. So, breaking there, yeah. So, you then go ahead and take this one, which gives you an upgrade and another worker. So at this point, again, I don't remember what you did. I think upgrading cards might be good because you're very short on cards. We'll see what you did. And also, you're right at the end of this track. You have to upgrade cards. Yeah. Okay. I decided to take that to upgrade a card myself, but then I got really stuck. I had big problems after this point because I got my upgrade because I managed to do this, but then I was in all kinds of trouble because I didn't take the university, therefore I couldn't get any closer on this. Like, I thought the upgrade would be good because I really wanted to upgrade build because, you know, but I guess it would have been better to take like the university or something, move up on here, because now I'm stuck in a position where my next upgrade, because I can't conserve, it's just going to be forever until I can upgrade anything. Like, I really got in a bad position, tied myself up in knots. At this point, like, yeah, okay, well, that's an educational experience. University first turn is usually best, and that's something I'm inclined to agree with, having, after playing this game. Effing Cool says, also, during the first round, association action usually goes all the way to position 5. That's true. And you don't really want to associate early in the first round. Like, if your first action of the first round is association, then it's going to come back and it's going to be real annoyance, you know? It's going to block you up on position 5. So you kind of want to stall a little bit if possible to play it. So let's suppose a situation in which you have association at like level 3 and other people have it at level 2, right? Or let's suppose you have it at level 4 and other people have it at level 2 and it's right at the beginning of the game and you're going first. You could take your university straight away, but you can do something else first because you know they can't take the university yet. You can stall for one turn, do something else, and then take it because then you know your association's not going to come up too fast. So it's interesting anyway. But yeah, this game is a classic for me anyway. I'm to talk about myself for a second. This game is a good example of why you can really get jammed up here. And the fact that I've just associated, this association now, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This card's going to come back up now. I don't have a second association worker. I have no way of getting another association worker. This guy's going to come up, it's going to just block, I can't use it. And because I don't have any university, I've just stuck here. I can't get another worker because I can't associate. It's just, yeah, this whole game was an absolute purge for me. So, I think, obviously there's no... Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I think it is sometimes like in this situation, no. But like if this was, say it was continent, and then habitat diversity, would it be justifiable to take 2 handshakes? I feel like under certain circumstances, the handshakes are big. Like if we had Australia here, then sure, like I would have thought it's a good idea to take Australia or Europe or whatever. Like, you want to associate something fast, and if you can, that's one of the situations where you're immediately trying to do something. But like just here, when I've just taken this with not a single Australia in sight, not not Australia's not even a thing. There's not even any Americas in sight. This is a situation where, although it gave me this discount, this might have been a mistake. This was definitely a mistake. Because upgrading build might be good and important and everything, but it's not as important as not throwing yourself in a massive pit, which I just have. I'm in a huge quagmire of bad stuff right now. Very interesting, very interesting. I don't even know whose turn it is. So you've just what's going on? Okay, you take card from... Oh, you built a kiosk and you took a card, which was this, right? This is such a nice card. You've actually taken that without the handshake yet, but the ability to scry 4 is just lovely. It's really good. You're doing another good build. It seems to me that in a 2-person game, like I've watched, I spectated a few of those, and I guess you're guaranteed to get 2 unis in the first two rounds, right? And you can always get 2 good ones. But in like a 4-person game or something, it's just, it's a free for all. If you've got good, if you're first or second player in a 4-person game and your cards are in the right place, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a good time. And if you're like 4th person to choose, it's gonna be brutal, honestly. What am I doing? Here, I'm doing some building. I think I was overbuilding again this game. I was quite happy at being able to do this. And this is me trying to, I don't even know what I'm doing here, to be honest. I'm running out of money is what I'm doing. Right. You can ignore these values 8, -1, 0. Those are all a bit messed up. Alright. Okay. Well, we won't, I don't know if we'll do the whole game here. So you decide to cast. Cast at top. You have a pretty empty hand. That makes sense. Now, you can potentially take some of this stuff if you want to. And it was at this position where I'm like, you have such a grip over the game right now. You've got you're way up here. You're controlling everything here, and I could really feel that effect that you were controlling everything beyond this point because we're all so far back. You control the card row, and this is something which I've learned just from playing the game, that people really rate reputation in this game, and I do. I think rep is really good, but in this game for the first time, I'm seeing how bad it is to not be able to like progress properly, but also it was compounded by the fact that I was forced to snap stuff, and it's just caused me to have even worse action efficiency. So the grip you had on the game made it much worse for the other players. Like, so I think you take these two here. One of those, one of these. You might go ahead and sell the Komodo dragon. Okay. You discard your GS70. You don't sell Komodo. I think I might snap something. I snapped. Look how bad that was. It felt so bad. I snapped a card which was in reputation range. Pretty dismal. And I know that blue took this. Alright, so your next action. Okay. Animals is on top. You have just built one enclosure. Can't play this thing yet. But you do have association here. And you do, you know, you do need to associate, so I think this isn't bad. You can't afford to play two creatures. Moving animals is good so that you can sponsor us. You might even play sponsors library first here because, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've got the partner there. I reckon you probably sponsors first because you want to sponsor like a bunch of times. You get this microscope, then you can play this one later. So probably science library first. No, you choose to associate and you take Europe. Okay, fair enough. Do you think it would have been better to do this first? Because you're going to want sponsors to come back, right? Now associations. Okay. Fair enough. I just feel like it's going to make sponsors come back slightly faster and make association come back slightly slower. Oh. You want the association to move up first? Okay, well, that's good then. Alright. I played Experts on Asia. Okay. Okay, cool. So blue goes ahead and snaps Determination Bird. I mean, I looked up at some point, I think it's even in this round that you were already up here, and I was like, what? This thing helped. I also remember you played Bird Breeding Program, and that was just after I associated this. So here, what do you do? Yeah, I played the Science Library. I do some more building. Maybe it's next round, yeah. Well, it must have been that you associated the bird breeding program because you have no workers. Alright. At this point, still have stuff to do, I guess. Play an animal. Nice. Look at a whole load of cards. You're in a position here where you were just getting, you know, you can draw anything you want from here. Just getting a whole bunch of stuff. So what's interesting? I guess the reptile you'd like. It's cheap. Thanks to Europe. You do already have a bird. Herbivores is pretty good for the icon. You decide not to keep. I'm just looking for creatures, I guess. Alright. I do trigger the break there. I didn't have a sponsored, so I didn't mind. Yeah. That's the other thing that I noticed about the economy of this game is that you'll see people playing petting zoo creatures or just size 1 creatures trying to get down cheap creatures early. Like, you'll never see a very strong player like start by playing a size 5 and then they might play a size 5 enclosure, but they won't put anything in it. Like, they won't spend all their money on a big creature in the before the first break, unless they can, like, release it. Sometimes you see that, and that's the exception, and that sometimes is very cool. I've seen strong players where they will take, like, the cheetah, get the size 5, play the cheetah, and then instantly release it. And that's very cool. Like, but that's pretty much the only situation in which you will see like a strong player. Like, it's always about the small creatures in the early game. Like, from what I've seen, I could be wrong. Alright, so aquatic, so blue supports something. Still don't see any bird breeding programs, so I guess you draw that soon. So you have build on top here, and I guess you are thinking about a reptile house. A reptile house would make a lot of sense. An aviary. Interesting. Yeah, I can I can see you took the aviary. For this, I guess. You wanted this bird. Okay. Very interesting. Ah. Interesting. So what you're saying is, even though cards is here and you right, so Evan Cool is saying is chatting a little bit in chat, saying that they took the aviary, right? Because I questioned the aviary, you know, as reptiles, you could go either way here. They decided that they wanted the aviary because they wanted this bird at the top, and they can get it with a placement bonus. At this point, you thought blue's probably going to play aviary later in the game, and you wanted to deny an aviary creature. That's very interesting. Yes, that's a good point, because blue took the golden eagle. That's very smart, actually. That's really smart. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Blue did take the dissemination creature. So taking the aviary creature is actually a very nice move. I like that. Very nice. I like it. Very cool. It's not the right thing I clicked, is it? So you go ahead and take the bird. And it's good. It's a good thing too. Like just seeing so many cards this game. You could have just. I mean, you could have. I mean, you are going to cards, right? You are going to draw cards, so you could have drawn it. Could have done it with a. Could have drawn it with a reptile house equally. Oh right, so you wanted lots of cards already at the top, so yeah, cards already. So blue just goes right ahead and plays the aviary. I bet they were pretty mad actually. And they played the aviary, get this, they played the aviary in the exact same position as where you played it, and I bet they were trying to take it with a placement bonus. I bet they were mad when you did that. I bet they were mad, you know. Wow, that's great. Look at this. In exactly the same position, they built this size 3 here so that they could do that, and yoink, you took the card. At this point, you know, you're kind of similar points. So he sponsors, interesting. So, okay, yeah. Because I guess you're figuring you're gonna draw these cards, and you want sponsors to start making its way back out. And you're getting money from the science library. Everything's coming up nicely here. So an upgrade at this point. I would say probably association. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. So, in my opinion here, I don't think you need the... You don't really need the engineer. The archaeologist, because, well, you could potentially times two. The neat thing about this map with the archaeologist is if you really put some work into it, you get the archaeologist and then you can get the times two bonus twice. I don't know if that's what you did, but it's pretty potentially powerful. Took the engineer. Oh, did you? Ha! I never realised there's another one. I was focusing on my stupid bird. Yeah. It's the best one, isn't it? If you have lots of workers, obviously. I had a plan to take the microscopes, but then I saw you had times two, and I knew you were going to take it. I was surprised that you managed to end the game when you did. It was a big boost. I don't know how many points you got, but I know that you took the rhino at some points. The being up here and just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take the rhino. it was not great for me. All right. Oh, did you not? Blue snaps again. We'd have no choice down here. We have to snap things. All right, so for you, let's see. Right. Cool. So here, let's have a look at this point. Right now, you have association at 4. You can cards. Predators breeding is there. I guess you are going to cards off the top here. And take archaeologist first. Spokesperson. Wow. As if you're not far enough along, dude. I mean, what about the rest of us? Could you save some luck for the rest of us, please? Take that. Take predator breeding. At some point, I looked up and it had gone. You discarded it. Should have gone rummaging through the trash. He sold it. So mean. And then you played this eventually. I guess you played it from reputation range. See, at this point, I was just about to associate. If I'd had a bit more game awareness, I might have realised your association is at 5, and you might play this. If I could have had a look at your game state, see that you actually have the bird breeding program, and realised that you were about to play that, and if I'd have realised you were about to play that, I could have held off on doing my association here. It's a bit of a gamble, but I could have stalled 1 or 2 turns to see if you were going to play this. I think I did mine, and then you immediately did yours, and I wasn't really considering the possibility that this might happen. So that's a learning point as well. Okay, I finally managed to get going. So this is actually your first association coming up now. This must be a bit boring for you, I think, Cork, because you're just seeing the same game from the same perspective from a second time. All right, so you take size 2s here. What was your thinking now for taking size 2s? Are you thinking that you... Yeah, well, give me your thinking there. What made you go for size 2s in this situation? You need enclosures for your animals. That's why you took the size 2s. You really like size 2s. I actually... Oh, you know that you're not making reptile house? Yeah, because you can't fit it against anywhere now. It doesn't fit anywhere, right? Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. I really like size 2s. It's a very nice upgrade. Being able to get size 2 enclosures is super nice. And to be honest, that's another reason why taking 2 universities first is the best thing you can do, because if you can get to here fast, then you might not need to take this association worker. And that's exactly what happened in this case. You never needed to take this association worker because you were here by the time you supported your first conservation project. You're here already. This is so weird. But you know what I mean? You got to do something even better. Like, I take this not because I want to, but because I feel like it's a good idea. You know? I feel like it's good to take this. But yeah, 2 workers are generally enough. I feel like most of the time, I'm not bothered about the second worker at all. I'm just happy to have the second one. And once I've got the second one, I don't really care about the rest. That's just the way I play. You playing a sponsor. Oh, you decide what? You did what? You took the 3 cards. It just makes me laugh because you've got so many cards in hand. But, yeah, okay. Wow. You have seen so many cards this game. I'm surprised that you took cards. You could have played one of these things for money. Yeah, well, I mean, why didn't you just play one of these sponsors? Right, you really wanted the archaeologist. You could have taken it earlier, and then you could have played it at this point. Oh, right, so you didn't... Oh, I see. So because you really wanted the archaeologist, you ended up... You've got 10 cards in hand at this point. It's just strange to draw so many. But, I mean, if you're going to draw a lot of cards, you might as well do it on this map, right? Alright. Yeah. Somebody else takes Americas. How many universities does Blue have? Blue has no unis. I always see this where you look at people and they've got 3 handshakes and no universities, and like, it seems weird to me. Like, don't you think it's weird? It's very strange. You're right. It's super, super easy to get a uni in the first round. That's a very good point. I think this is like the main number one thing I've learned from this game is universities are more important than partners use. They're much more important than partners use. Yeah, I mean, as conservation is more important. Like, if I can conserve, and that's going to get me another worker, that's more important than whether or not I've got 2 unis. Like, if I've got the ability to get conservation early, I would rather do that. But like, if I can't see how I'm going to conserve, I should 100% go for 2 unis. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been educational, that's for sure. I hope because we can't hear you on the video. I'm just saying that. So Eppingall's saying it's really hard to get university later on. If you want to catch up on partners use, it's very easy, because once you get to position 4, you also start to think about conservation. Very true, yeah. So that's actually an extremely good point. That's a very, very good point. Because when you're in a position to conserve, you think, oh, it's a waste to get a university, right? Because it's so close to being able to get a conservation project. So it's not so much, this is great, this is really interesting. It's not so much the fact that you, yeah, it's kind of, yeah. So basically, it's the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of taking university is higher later, right? If you could maybe do a conservation project, you can't, you don't really want to take the university. So it gets harder to take a university because you're thinking about conserving. So taking a university early is better than taking one late because it gets harder to take one late. And if you have upgraded association, it's hard to take a university plus something else. And Evan Cool says the point is catching up for Partners Who is easy. It's really true. Like, that's something I hadn't considered, and I think this has been a very educational game in that sense. Alright, so in this position, I guess you're going to play some of your little creatures, but you would have to play at least one of these birds. I'm guessing that you don't want to draw any more creatures, so you're probably going to play this and, like, some other creature. Play two things. You've got way too many cards in hand. Selling some stuff, okay. Play some cards. Play some cards. Shoebell. And the don't have a petting zoo. So, oh, you have to just play that one. Okay. Draw a million cards. Did you undo this? No, you played another enclosure. Right, that makes sense. Again! You say, oh. Look at this. Absolutely disgusting. You disgusted it for the second time. Oh, it's too funny. It's too funny. You're actually even in a position where if you don't want this round anymore, you can sponsors and end it, which is nice. Oh my gosh, I got a uni. Look, I made it. I was pretty happy when I did that. Okay. The only thing I would say is it's good to raise this, but I wonder, part of me wonders if it's better to have one uni and one handshake in the first two rounds. Because you can get one of these and one of these with two workers, but you can't get two of these or two of these with two workers in one round. Effing Cool reckons two unis is better. Well, I think I should listen to you, because you know what you're talking about. And I don't really know what I'm doing. Alright, we'll maybe watch one more round of this. At this point, it's pretty clear with 14 reputation and, you know, it, alright, so Effing Cool says, personally, my most ideal situation is a partner zoo in round 1, and then a breeding program in round 2, and then the second ideal situation is 2 unis. Yeah. Actually, that's quite nice. Partner zoo in round 1, and then you can breeding program round 2, yeah. This is the second game that you've upgraded a card before the first break. Do you realise that? I don't know if that's busted or if it's a bit of luck or what, but do you remember last game you upgraded the sponsors before was it before the first break? I feel like it was, You upgraded sponsors before the first break and you got another worker. Or before the first break. Pretty interesting. Yeah, and it seems to be very strong. I think we'll take that into consideration here. Alright, so round ended. We'll have a little bit more of this. I guess size 2 here. Alright, yeah, we don't want this video to be too long. We can pretty much watch one more action, I think, and then we can draw some conclusions. Alright, so here you're building. Alright, so it's a build action. And we can see, obviously, you're going to play this very well out with getting the... are you going to get the ×2 bonus now from the archaeologist? Alright, we'll watch the double associate. I think that'll be interesting. So here you are aiming for species 5. You're a fair way off still. We are 50 minutes into the video. Here the rhino just drops into your lap. And it gives you a new species. Oh my days. Yeah. Can't. Well, it's perfect. Your contaction was in the right place at the right time. You're drawing all the stuff. You can even boost association. That boosting association is so good for you because you can ×2, and then if you know, you can actually ×2 again next round. Yeah, it is good with these ×2s and whatnot. Alright, let's watch this action and then we'll wrap up the let's analyze. I'm a bit gobsmacked by this game. How long have we got? We've got an hour and a half. We can get another game in after this. Very interesting. Alright. Are you going to associate now is the question. You might play the rhino first. I'm not sure here. Okay, you do. Okay, so blue's ready for species 5. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So at this point, you pivoted, you decided you'd take Reptile 2, so that we wouldn't, neither of us would be able to take Reptile 2. That's interesting. We'll just watch this association action of yours. Alright. Alright. Thanks, tokens. Whew. So yeah, doing the herbivore breeding program or whatever, that's going to give you a nice 2 reputation boost, which in combination with another university could potentially get you some upgrades and stuff. But you're still going to be getting good stuff from this. So here you're going to associate. Alright, here we go, we'll get the association. So at this point, take this one, but there's no point taking this, it's not going to go anywhere. So like you say, take reptiles 2, block it, get another association worker. And the second association worker means you could potentially... You take a partner zoo here, and that allows you to upgrade, and you do that, right. Get the upgrade. Then you can play a whole bunch of animals. Alright. You choose not to donate here in order to have more money for creatures. Alright. We'll wrap it up there. I think that was a very interesting game. So, what have we learned from that one? So, right, you figure that donating there wouldn't give you enough money. It makes sense. So, what did we learn from that? We learned that it's possible to get very stuck. If you do 2 handshakes first and you can't get a conservation project on the go, you can really, really get jammed up badly. Taking universities in the first round is very strong because it's harder to take them later when you also want to do conservation projects. You know what I mean? And that I've never really thought about it, but it does make a lot of sense. So I think I'm going to value universities more, particularly before the first break. Obviously, if you can conserve before the first break, or you can do other good stuff, that's fine. But taking the universities, I think I have been underestimating the importance of that, especially if you can hit 5 reputation in the first round, because we've just seen how good that is. All right. And the other thing is, it also, depending on how many players you've got, you think it's worth it to go for it, yeah. Well, it's been very interesting. All right, well, thanks for watching this Let's Analyze video. I certainly feel like I learned a lot. If you have got any comments, please leave them down below. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully, in our next games, we'll do better. That would be great. All right, see you next time, lovelies.